One of the things that I wanted to mention is something you just touched on. We have a hotline in Kalani where people call when they have issues that need to be addressed.
Yes.
And most of the times it's non-crime related.
Yes.
The one thing that we have gotten that did involve the police, because it wakes me up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, is the noise pollution. What jurisdiction does the police have over that kind of thing? Because it appears that nobody could do anything.
Yeah, we can do something about it. Let me tell you what I've been doing. There's a law against it. Even if you have a permit to run a club or some other entertainment place, the music must be played inside your premises and should not affect people on the outside. So if I'm on the outside and it's a nuisance to me, it's too loud. Quickest test. And the police can shut it down and we can write the infraction. And if you don't have a permit to do it, you know, how do I explain this to you? I lived in Ottawa, Canada for a year. I traveled all over Canada. I cannot recall ever driving any street where there was a party like that going on in no backyard. You can't do it. You just can't do it. Doesn't happen, folks. You can't do it. You can't park your car on the side of the street on no block and say you come back in a couple of days. It don't work like that. They will write you up. And you know, you can't go to your politician. It ain't happening. And you fool around with it, they take your house.
So that is a law that...
Oh, listen, we had an AC unit outside the house. One day the folks showed up. I was a senior policeman from the Bahamas, official. Rang my doorbell, said they had a noise complaint. And I said, what? He says, yeah, the AC unit is too loud. The fella said that his window on that side was near the AC, and he'd like to open his window and get a cool breeze. And it was just disturbing him. So they had a meter that came by, and I think it's a decibels. They tested to determine, and they said that I was in limit. They spoke to him and he was quite happy. But it was tested. Now, we're from Bahamas, so we had a little difficulty with that. Took me a while to digest that. I thought he was a mean person. But then it suddenly dawned on me, wait a minute, that's just the way things are. You know, you have to follow some rules. You know, in Grand Bahama, I lived in an area known as South Bahamian. Some people will misunderstand this, but it's the closest that I've ever seen us come to some sense of order. You can't park an old car beside the road and leave it. Your car must be in your yard, in your garage, or your driveway. Your dog can't just run around and do as it wishes. You can't have cars on blocks. You can't have a clothesline in the back of your yard and string clothes. Do you know that? You can't do it. You cannot build a house and not have the landscaping done. Not allowed, folks. You have to put that in the plan. And that has to be done. You're not going to get that occupancy unless that is properly done. That's what, and this is in the Bahamas. In the Bahamas. Nice part. It's in the Bahamas. And so I'm saying, we're way off. We're way off.
Mr. Commissioner.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, it does work. The other thing though is, I just want to ask Elaine, and you don't have to give much details in a setting like this. Your CCTV system that you have in...
Just got it in December.
Okay. So far so good? Okay. And listen, can I ask you all to pay some attention on that for me? Here's what happens. The guys get a little wise now, and so you have to pay attention to what happens before. And I'm hoping for Ministry Works and other technocrats that are in the mix, if you're advising people, I'm hoping we get to the point of building into designs. We pay attention to, this is the house. So I put a camera that sees your door and the house. But remember, the fella's going to start from the road. And if he starts from the road, he probably hasn't put his mask on yet. Let me put it another way. Guy pulls into a parking lot. He's not driving the streets with his mask on. He's coming to rob your establishment. He pulls into a spot in the parking lot. You have to think like him. What might be that spot that he want to pull so the driver he can hop or pop in and pop out. As he gets out is when he puts his mask on. The point that he gets out, if he's not aware that the camera's there, he just gave you his face. So most times you get him with his mask on, and we can see everything that he's doing in your establishment around the front door, but he's masked and covered up nicely. And if you have the cameras just positioned correctly, And that is why people like Mr. Dean and those who are experts will say, yes, we know a security company came and they sold this to you, but let's look at this again. Is this community policing through environmental design? Did you build it in correctly? You look at your wall. How high is your wall? Are you using a solid block wall, or as opposed to going up maybe 2 feet and then putting the Rhode Island rails on top so that it's high enough to cause him some grief, but people can see? Or do you put this barrier high enough that he can be in there all day with you, Robin, and nobody from the road will see? Simple issues. Shrubbery, how you do it. You love your hedge. But your hedge is a lovely barrier that people hide behind. You can have a nice tree. But the branches don't start until it's what, about 5 feet up. So you still have a line of sight. It's so simple, it's scary. I'm telling you, a bad guy looks at that. He looks at you, he looks at the neighbor, and he goes, and if he's been there before, he knows your place. And there's a good chance we catch that fella, it's the same person that's always coming back, because he knows it. Knows it, probably knows you. Scary. Because they watch you. They do. We hear you. I really believe Nate is overdue for